It's Sunday, July 21st, 2024. I just dropped out to my out yard here. This is the as yet unfenced out yard. Got a video of some nice young black bears out here last night, about 10:30, playing around. Look like pretty young ones. So I don't know. I'm getting a little nervous with this yard. So I'll turn this camera on and show you what's going on here. There's not a whole lot going on. The fanning noise in this apiary is incredible. A lot of bearding. It's hot. And again, not as hot as some areas, but it's about 28°C right now. And the humidity is very high. We're looking at humidities in the 80s these days. So they're just hanging out in the front of these hives. They're starting to bang into me. They're getting a little stingy, so I'm going home. So everything's okay. I didn't see them tip anything over in the video, so I was pretty confident that. But I thought, I looked at the weather forecast. They said it was going to rain most of the night, so I thought I better check so we don't have any beehives open. But I'm going to get in the truck. Holy cow! It's Monday, July 22nd, 2024, and you can tell by the fact that I'm all wet is that it's hot out here. It's really not that hot, but the humidity is very high. We're running probably 90% humidity right now, and it's only 21°C, but it makes it even hard to breathe. It's like it makes it hard to walk around. It's so thick out here. So I don't want to complain about the heat. It's not really that hot. And when I get a little bit of a breeze, this yard's very sheltered, but I can feel a little tiny breeze, and is it ever refreshing. So I'm back at the out yard where I was last night, and I had a quick look at these colonies, and they need honey supers. So I'm going to do that. And one other thing I need to do is there was two that didn't really work out here. We tried. And I say we because a buddy was here one time and we were working at this. There's one on the other side here, and there's this one that didn't work out from the beginning. And so we successfully got this one a laying queen. My first attempt was with those Nucs that I got, and I shook the bees in front, and that didn't work out. So that's not a good method. He said that he's had that work out. And the way that he had that work out was he shook the bees into a tote and kind of shook them up a bit and made all the old bees fly. And then he dumped the young bees in front of the colony, and then that worked out. And he made a very, very small entrance, just a 1 bee size entrance. So that's how he made that work out. So that didn't work out. And then, so what I did was I just put a frame of eggs in each one of these two. So I got 50%, right? This one's laying. This one's pretty much just a big box of honey and a bunch of bees. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this box. You can hardly see it. It's kind of on the other side here. I'll take that box. I'm going to shake the bees out. I'm going to look for the queen, but I'm sure there's no queen. I queen checked it yesterday. So I'll look for the queen. I'll shake it out. And then I brought a queen excluder along. I'm going to put a queen excluder over this one and put that other box on top of it, and I'll likely add another honey super as well. But while I'm doing that, I brought some frames with black plastic foundation. They're drawn frames, and the reason I say that is I like to put black foundation in my brood chambers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cherry pick all of the honey frames out of this brood chamber and replace them with drawn comb, put them up in honey super, because that's my honey, right? I can take that honey and harvest it. So anyway, other than that, this is just adding honey supers. I might be converting some of these boxes that are 10 frames to 9, so I brought my spacer along. I'm running out of frames. I'm sure glad I made all those frames last winter when I was not allowed to do any work. And so I've put frames in these boxes of drawn comb. I've put foundation frames in there. I don't like running foundation at the end of the honey flow, but when you don't plan very well, like I did, you really have no choice. So they'll work them, and often then the honey flow ends and they strip the wax off them on and on, and then you re-wax them at the end of the year, which I likely would do anyway if they weren't drawn, even if they don't strip the wax off. So enough talk. Let's tie in and do this little job first, and then I'll just add the honey supers. That's a little less impact. It's a little easier. So once I'm kind of wore out, because this wears me out real fast, this humidity, I have to actually then go home, get another truckload of boxes, and head to the other out yard and see if they need honey supers, which I'm sure they will. Let's get to work. Now, I was here yesterday, and the bees there was a lot of activity. They were in full forage. But the bees seemed a little cranky. And I don't know if that was simply my presence. I don't know if the humidity was playing a part. Or I suspect actually those little bears that were running around here. There's 2 little bears, they're just about this tall, running around, sniffing around. Pretty sure one of them got stung. The way he jumped back. I'd put the videos up, but I'm pretty disappointed. The spy point saves the videos. Very high quality video. But saves the videos in an encryption and an encoding format that is not compatible. I can't play them on my computer, really. I can play them a little bit, and I don't know, maybe somebody can help me with that. Meaning I can play them a little bit. I can play them on my smartphone. If I share, I can download the video on my smartphone, and I can share it with somebody on Facebook Messenger, for example, and they can play it on that, and I can play it on my computer from that. But if I try to play it in just a regular MP4 compatible player, it won't play it. And I've looked that up, and that's a known issue, and there doesn't seem to be much of a resolution for it. That's a huge oversight, in my opinion, by the manufacturer. Okay, they're really nice looking colony. They're quite packed out though. Right, this is an old cup they've got going. I'd love to see this queen. I'll bet you she's a real beauty. She's doing a good job. This hive might make a box of honey. You know, they've got some over in that other hive I'm gonna put here, so it'll appear that they made a box of honey, but they may yet make a box of honey. So all of these cups are just old. Just take them away so I don't worry about them at all. Yeah, lots of young larvae. It's beautiful. I love seeing a young queen get going, you know. It's just a really nice thing. Nice, chill little colony, aren't they? They're beautiful. If she's just gotten going, then probably, I'm guessing, the population, the age cohorts of population are fairly low. And so the majority of the bees will be a bit younger, and you won't have as many of those cranky older bees. We've got some drone comb on the bottom, which really speaks to their optimism. I think most of these frames are going to go above. I want to put that one above because it's got some goofy comb in it. Beautiful brood frames. But that honey band, see that honey band on the top there? It's encroaching here, and it can't get down. It's right down to where the brood is now. So that's not really what I want. And they'll swarm. But you can see all this white wax. They've definitely been bringing in nectar. For the most part, not having anywhere to put it. So I might be taking most of the frames out of here. If I can find the queen, I should just put that box of foundation under under the queen excluder. Put the queen in it. Because these are really heavy. The outside ones, the outside two, I think I'm going to leave because typically that'll be more syrup than honey. Black foundation was drawn last year, just beautiful. Come out of the honey boxes. Well, the uncapper made a little mess there. Okay, this is when we start making the commotion here. Start shaking bees off. I find it's best to try to replace frames in a timely manner because the bees need somewhere to go, and if they don't have any frames, then things get awkward. They start just climbing up the box and making a mess. Okay, I think these two, that's 6. Okay, that brood chamber is back together. I'll get my queen excluder now. It's a metal one, which is good, but it's not very clean. And then this box. I'm back to using some foundation. Not my favorite thing. Later on in the honey flow for sure. But I'm exhausting my drawn comb. Okay, so now the idea is to get that other hive. I'll shake them out and put them up over here. I'm gonna have to use my spare box for this. They're a pretty good population. They're even bearding. But I'm convinced they don't have a queen. If they got a queen, she's no good. Let's see if I can do a queen check anyway. Because they've just filled this whole thing with nectar. It's 100% nectar. There are a few dots of sealed brood in here. I think just because they haven't been without, the eggs that I gave them was just a little less than 21 days ago. Yeah, it's just all nectar. 100%. That's the thing about a queenless hive, they'll still make you honey, you know. They're like addicted to making honey. There's nothing going to stop them. If it's there, they're going to gather it. Boy, good population. I don't know. Maybe they did requeen, and I didn't go all the way over. Maybe I'll find a nest over there. They're chill. They don't seem too upset. Few cells of sealed brood there. So that tells me I added those eggs. What was it? It's the 21st now. It's the 22nd now. So if it was those eggs were laid on the 3rd of July or so. Long about then. I know people give me the gears about not taking very good notes, and I don't. It's usually not a big deal. But once that sealed brood is gone, then the workers will start to lay pretty quick. So that's days. And here's big queen cell here. Almost looks like a swarm cell though. It's just packed right out with nectar. There's not a stitch of laying that I can see. Oh, except they're balling the queen right here in front of me. Little bastards. What do? I don't have a cage. There's a cage in the truck though. Usually you can't salvage it. Yeah, she's a virgin. So, what do? Is this virgin gonna mate? They're really being mean to her. Yeah, I'm gonna do her in, I think. Okay, plan B. I don't have another queen excluder though. Well, I'm gonna leave the queen in the cage, so I won't need one. There's just so much honey in this box. That's beekeeping, I noticed that right away. And maybe it's just that I'm not very organized, but you make a plan and you go to your bee yard and then you make a new plan. And if it's an out yard, hopefully you brought with you everything you're going to need. The home yard, I can switch gears pretty easily because I've got all my equipment there. But I don't have another queen excluder, so I'm a little bit hooped in that regard. She's definitely a virgin queen. They have some black foundation they can draw. It's not the greatest for a brood chamber, but there's no laying queen, so they might as well draw foundation. I hate putting foundation on brood chamber, but when you're out of frames, I do have a few more, but when you're at an out yard, you got no frames here with you. I'll put this here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thing is, they got a beautiful population. It would be a shame to lose that momentum. I could leave that at 9. since it's technically a honey super now and they're fully drawn. I'll put the queen in here. She's got a wax plug in the cage, so I'm not sure how that'll work out. I think maybe they should have a honey super as well. Pretty heavy flow right now, I think, so yeah, you kind of had a long shot at that, but you kind of get what I was doing. I think that box is not quite on there right. So she's in a cage with a wax plug. So I don't know, what should I do? I'd like to release her soon. So do I then come back here maybe tomorrow? I could do it later today and come back with the queen excluder and put just a little bit of candy in that cage. I don't want her to be in that cage long. She's a virgin. She needs to be out doing her thing, you know. So anyway, I'll ponder that while I finish adding supers here. This was a foundation frame. Most of these boxes were foundation when I put them on. And you can see they're just nicely drawn and filled up. I've got those spaced to 9 frames. So if that outside frame looks like that, that means I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. So there's 3 frames of foundation in here and 7 drawn frames. And that's a 4th box, which, while not unheard of for me, it's more than the average. Normally I'll get 3 boxes. Rained a lot last night, so I have to make sure I don't dump the water on my feet. Oh, these are beautiful. These are just gorgeous. All beautiful white, newly drawn frames. These 2 end hives seem to be doing really well. So I'm actually going to put a box of medium foundation that I happen to have, which is again unusual for me, but oh, it is what it is. It's space, right? Well, it's not really space, but it will be. It will be space. Okay. Well, that's a tall hive for me. Check the end one. And I can feel there's some weight. It's not full, but it's probably half full of nectar. And so they definitely need another box. I don't know what I'll do if they need a fifth a 5th box. I don't think I have enough boxes. I don't have enough frames. Completely filled with nectar. So I definitely need another box. Not as prolific. They're in 2 boxes now. But there's weight in this one still. Oh yeah. They're still drawing that out though. But it's drawn. So again, I know I talk about this a lot, but not everybody watches every time. So there's 10 frames in here because I had some foundation when I put the box on. Well, they've drawn that. Now, they're still sort of working on it a little bit, but I call that drawn for my purposes. And so what I'll do is, because I like to run 9 frames, then I'll take one out. Check that first box just to make sure that's 9. And then I'll space these to 9. I'll add 8 more and put that one in. Or add 9 more because I've got foundation in the last box too. That's the way it's supposed to work right there. So, get this one. I'm going to take one of my drawn frames out of here. Put this one in here. I'll put it in the end. Tighten those up to 10 frames because there's 3 frames of foundation in there. It's very nice. I can tell that they're putting honey all the way to the outside. These are not as far along. There's waxed frames I put in there, and they've just started to touch them. But they have some full frames in the middle, so I can move the full frames out. Encourage them to get to work on these. I think I don't have a ton of boxes, so maybe I'm going to leave that one for now. Can check on it in a day or so when I check on that queen. That one's full right to the outside. It's also got 10 frames. So I'm going to pull one. The bees love it when you hammer on the hive like that. Well, they haven't gotten to the outside here yet, so. See, last time I was here, as you can see by the varying heights of the hives, I didn't add supers to everything. Well, that's a pretty good looking yard. I just counted the boxes, and there's 62 boxes here. And, you know, for easy math, you can say 50 pounds a box of you know, extracted honey. And so that's easy math. We're looking at 3,100 pounds here right now, once they fill those extras, right? So that's a considerable amount. That's 1,000 pounds short of that number right now, because those top boxes are empty. All right, well, I'll have to go home and fill the truck with some more boxes and hit the other out yard. I'll take you along. Well, I went home, reloaded the truck with honey supers, and here we are at the other out yard. So it's just a rinse and repeat here. However, there's two things to do here. There's 2 colonies, and again, they're the ones that we're kind of having trouble and trying to requeen them. So I didn't have a lot of queens on hand and that sort of thing, so I was really just adding frames of eggs and hoping that they would mate. Well, they didn't. So there's 2 here, they're laying workers, and I'm just going to shake them out. I'll put those boxes atop something else as a honey super, and they'll just fill that up and cap it up. So that's really the only unusual thing going on here. Some of the beards in this yard are quite remarkable. It's just so humid and hot, and strong colonies. Here's one of the shakeouts. So I need to take this frame by frame, and I'm going to, I will have a quick check to see, you know, if miraculously they have a queen. I'm quite certain they don't. And I'm just going to shake the frames out between these hives down the line. And to me, the thing I want to do mostly is to get the bees out of here and remove anything that looks like home. So there's almost no bees on this one, so I'll just shake that. I often try to leave a spare box or 2 in my outyards to sit on, or to hold spare frames, or anything like that. See, I can hear them now, that queenless sound. There's a few cells of sealed brood here. There's a cup. This bee was in here feeding a larva that's in this cup. So maybe I'll take a quick, better look at this. There's nothing else in that frame. And this is telltale. The domed cappings of the drones. But see, there's still some flat cappings, and that's workers. So that indicates to me how long they've been queenless. No, they may have been queenless longer than that would indicate, because of the fact that I gave them a frame or 2 of eggs with hopes that they'd make a queen. Boy, they're sure darting at my hands. So I don't know if they would, if that frame of eggs would delay them going laying workers or not. But there's quite obviously nothing here to salvage. Just some bees. And they'll congregate around there for a while. Then they'll give up on home, that it's gone, and find somewhere else. This is a beautiful box of honey. It was a box of foundation, and now the frames are all beautifully drawn and full of honey. So we'll space them out to 9. They're not capped yet, so they will then keep that going and draw those out a little thicker. This is the other shakeout. I just again do one last check. I'm certain they have no queen, but hate to shake them halfway. I've actually done that. You shake half the frames and then, oh look, a queen, and she's laying. It's like, oopsie daisy, get back together, it's all you can do. See, they've left a nice space. They've prepped a nice space for her to lay right there, but there is no her, so there ain't gonna be no laying going on. And again, bullet caps, so they are certified queenless laying worker. Okay, what is this? What is this? This is worker brood. A few bullet caps here, but Okay, I am now confused. What's in here? There's nothing in there. I mean, this very well may have been the frame of eggs I gave them. I don't remember the date, of course. There's lots of larvae throughout here, but there's also lots of drone cells. So what I need to see is I need to see how the eggs are laid. I don't know. I'm tempted to shake them out anyway. And that's all laid up too. But it's, is it all laid up worker or was it all laid up drone? I'm going to give them one more chance. Against my better judgment. I'll come back here in a week. And those cells, those laid up larval cells, they'll be capped. And then I'll easily see if that's a drone or a worker. Because I gotta get doing this supering job. Okay, that's it for this yard. I've been listening to thunder for about an hour, so I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching. Take care and have fun. It's Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. I'm gonna make this real fast, because I got a truckload of bees here. I just got back from Ian's, and Carrie helped me load these bees up. These are little Nucs. The bees are kind of old, but these have got fresh Carrie Martindale queens in there. There's 35 of them in there, and there's 4 here. Now one of these is a zombie. I think that one's a zombie still. It was just the last remaining one, but these 3 are the other 3 are Carrie Martindales. So I've got to get those placed out here. I just have to get them out of the truck. I've got pallets here set up, and I'm going to set them all along here. Got my polys and everything. So I'm just going to do that. I'm not even going to go get my tripod because I need to get these out of the truck. So I'll check back again. People sometimes ask, that's about a 4-hour round trip to Ian's place from my place. We don't live super close, but close enough. So, okay. So I had a really nice number divisible by 3, except I had one more. So anyway, but it worked out because I think it's this one on this corner is actually the zombie. So maybe I should trade these 2 spots. And the camera's going real dark. And then we've got all the wooden ones on top of the polys here and here and here and here, and some more down there. And I've unloaded the whole works and no veil, and I didn't get stung yet. That's really nice. Thanks Ian and thanks Carrie. I really appreciate this. So these'll get, there's 4 frames in these. So I'll drop them down into these 6s, and same with the wooden ones, there's 6s. These are kind of sitting on the ground now, sitting right on the pallet anyway, and I'm picking up some more 5-6 frame boxes this weekend, so they'll have to wait a little while to get transferred. And yeah, the sun's not low, but I'm looking at the sun, and that's why the camera is not cooperating. But it's about 5:30, 6 o'clock now, and I've been on the road most of the day. Boy, this apiary's looking up, eh? This apiary's really looking up. So I'm gonna call it that for today, and thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll let you know what happens with these little guys. It's Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. So I'm back out at the apiary this morning. Here's the little 4-framers that I brought in yesterday. And there's really not much to do here. These are going to sit in the 4 frames for a few days now. There's other work to do, and they've got space. I can then drop them down into the 6s and add some frames. Now, I just went around and took the screws out of the lids. When I picked them up, I screwed the lids down just so they didn't blow away or come off in the truck, you know, because that would be a bad thing. And that worked just fine. So I've taken all those screws out, and I'm just going to leave them now for a few days. I also turned the entrances. I noticed the bees in the apiary are starting to rob a little bit, and not rob each other, but rob if there's honey or syrup available, they'll rob on it, and that kind of indicates that they're getting light on honey flow. So I turned the little entrance discs just down so that it's just about 1 bee width, just so that the small guys have a chance to defend what they've got against the big guys that are sitting here in the apiary. It's always a little bit of a precarious situation having small colonies right here next to these great big monstrous production colonies. They can get a bit wild if you're not careful. So that's all that's going to go on here. And now I'm just going to head to my out-yard here and put some of those little sticks in the lids to lift the lids up a little bit, because the coming days are going to be quite warm. We're going to be in the low 30s C here, and you know, again, it's a lot warmer in a lot of other places, but sometimes it's not as humid. We're looking at 90% humidity or better here. Today it's not super hot right now. It's 20 or maybe low 20s, but we have a little bit of a breeze, so that's really nice to keep you cooled off a little bit. But you can still see, just walking around the apiary, I'm still wet. So I'm going to put those in there just so that they can have a little bit of ventilation. One thing I really like to provide too, I don't often provide, but I think is a good idea, is an upper entrance when you put the queen excluder on. As you remember, when I put my queen excluders on, do my shakedowns, I pull brood up above the queen excluder as a bait. And I pull any old nasty frames, anything like that, so then I can cull those in the honey house. So what's in there is there's some drone brood. And those drones will emerge above the queen excluder and they can't go anywhere. So kind of feel bad for the big fellas, you know, being a big fella myself. So having a little entrance in the top, and then the drones can get out from there. So that's just a couple of reasons I want to go and put those little shims in the top, just to keep that top open a little bit. It's Friday, July 26, 2024. It's a little bit of a breezy one, which is kind of nice because it's been pretty warm. It's not super warm right now. Of course, it's early. It's 22 C right now, but it's near 80% humidity. And the next few days here is going to be the low 30s C. So 30 is about the melting point of Canadians, and so it gets uncomfortable. So I have to run to town today, so I just thought I'd catch up before I ended off this week. And so next week, the jobs at hand will be transferring these little 4s into into the 6s that they're sitting atop. And there's a row of them off the camera here you can't see. And also there's a whole mess of James McNally queen introductions going here, and it's time for them to be checked. At least pretty soon it will be. So I need to check those and make sure they're doing okay. And if for some reason it didn't go well, then I have to deal with that hive. I don't want them start to, you know, laying workers and all that kind of nonsense. Honey flow is going well, although I had some syrup frames out the other day, and I was just doing some work, and the bees did start to rob them a little bit, which worries me because generally, if they've got much of a flow, they're not going to bother robbing anything like that. So I have to keep watch on the honey flow, see how it's going. So the out yards are doing well. They're also stacking up with the honey boxes. The unfenced out yard has not had any bear attacks. It's had bear visits. So I'm losing a little bit of sleep over that, but you know, I got a trail cam over there that I can keep an eye on them. So that's about it for this week. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll catch up again on next week on what's going on here in the apiary. And until then, have a great weekend. Take care and have fun.